Just to give you guys a heads up, if you really enjoyed this movie, I'm happy for you and I respect your opinion, but this is not going to be a good review for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I wish I just checked out at the cinema tonight. Now, going into this movie, once again directed by Peyton Reed, who's done the previous 2 outings of the Ant-Man trilogy. Might be a 4th movie in the future, who knows at this point. Yeah, you know what? I was kind of intrigued and kind of not. MCU for me, ever since Spider-Man No Way Home, I haven't really liked their projects, if I'm going to be completely transparent. So going into this movie, I did not have high hopes whatsoever. And after leaving the movie tonight, I was just left absolutely frustrated by this movie. Now, I might be in the small minority because I have heard mixed things about this, but I have heard people kind of coming out and be like, yeah, I kind of enjoyed that movie, or maybe it was kind of just like a mediocre start to Phase 5. For me, I think it was a terrible start to Phase 5, and this is what to come in the future. Then I'm definitely not looking forward to what we've got in store, because let me just kind of get a couple of quick positives out the way here. I mean, we've got cast returning here, such as Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Evangeline, Lilly, Kathryn Newton, a cameo from Bill Murray, Jonathan Majors, and so many others are added in this movie. And a couple of quick positives I can give straight away is the performances here are good. You know, they're kind of just the performance expectations from what you would expect kind of from this movie. No one, I would say, absolutely stands out or steals the show or anything like that. Now, I do know that Jonathan Majors has been getting great props for his portrayal as Kang. I will say that he is good for what he is given, or at least he tries to do good for the material he is given in this movie. I don't think the character is written that great, if I'm being honest with you, but that's more for in my negatives. So yeah, performances are kind of sustainable here. Everyone does what they're meant to, really. There's a couple of cool like action battle scenes, especially the battle scene towards the end of the movie where, you know, you got the huge Ant-Man kind of attacking with Kang. Not really spoiled in the trailer. That scene I quite liked, but unfortunately that is literally where my positives end with this movie, because just going straight into my negatives, and I didn't want to come here and take like a big dumpster dive on this movie, but I just have to tell you how I feel on this one, guys. Unfortunately, I can't really give you a really positive, happy-go-lucky review, because that's not how I felt with this movie, is what they do with the character MODOK. Now, I have to be transparent, I've never read any Marvel comics, so I'm taking these movies at face value and what they present to me as a general audience member, checking out the MCU and this entire timeline with Phase 5 starting. What they do with MODOK is absolutely appalling in this outing. When they first reveal MODOK, however, I will say, I really dug the design. I thought, wow, this is cool. I'm aware of the character in general through like Lego sets. I was wondering, okay, so how are they going to portray him, and what are they going to kind of do to try and make him as like a menacing-ish kind of threat? When they reveal who's under MODOK, that is terrible. Literally one of the worst decisions ever made at Marvel, and whoever made that decision, wow, how did they get away with that? I really don't know. So that's my first negative. That was terrible. Second one is Kathryn Newton character here of Cassie is Scott Lang's daughter, right? I like Kathryn Newton. I thought she was great in the movie Freaky. I think she's a great actress, don't get me wrong. But in this movie, she makes so many dumb decisions that by the end of it, you can't root for her character. There's also meant to be a very emotional kind of underlying story here with Scott Lang and the Wasp and Cassie and stuff like that. I didn't give a damn whatsoever, guys, by the end of this movie. I really didn't. I didn't feel it. It was meant to get like this music amped up behind it to get you sold in that moment and investment. I really didn't care. I didn't buy it. I didn't think, oh, what a lovely moment. I thought, right, skip to the credits. Come on, let's get to the end of this movie. So that is my second negative here. Third one, CG for most part of this movie is pretty bad. Now, I know it can be tough because, you know, The Way of Water of Avatar 2 technically has come out recently, and of course that is kind of like setting a big benchmark for CG, but Marvel, you know, after all this time is known for its being kind of like CG and special effects and everything like that. They should really be doing better by now in the year 2023, but it seems like as if they're going backwards instead of forwards. There was times here you could blatantly tell it was a green screen or blue screen behind these cast members, and I just felt sorry for them. I was like, they're trying to sell this moment, and I really wasn't bought into it. The forced dialogue is my fourth negative here. The dialogue is very cringy here. There's a character, a blob, that loves holes, and it's like a running joke. Wasn't funny the first time, wasn't funny the 50th time it was mentioned here. The dialogue with Scott Lang, I would say, is probably the worst he's ever been. The comedy does not land here at all. I did have one tiny sort of chuckles in a scene between Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd. Right near the beginning of the movie, there was one line exchange. I thought, wow, okay, that was actually a smart quip. That actually kind of got a giggle out of me. But the rest of it, yeah, no, I was just bored and sat there like, you know, like feeling like they've got to do better. My fifth negative here is with Kang and how they portrayed the character. Now again, I don't know what he's portrayed like in the comics, so I can't give you a reference of being like, oh yeah, it's faithful or it's not faithful. Again, I'm just taking for Jonathan Major's performance as it was. And again, I thought he did good with what he was given, but his character comes across pretty weak besides 1-2 tiny scenes, if that. And then it's just like, what a waste of potential. And then eventually in a couple of years' time, this guy's meant to be like the big threat of the MCU, and the next Avengers movie is based on him. And I'm like, if they're portraying him like this in this movie alone, where he is a big part of this movie, may I add, I've not got hope for future Avengers movies. I really, really don't. Oh, I also got one last negative I almost forgot around. In kind of like a final scene here, Wasp uses a gun, right? And if you've ever seen The Terminator or Terminator 2, whenever the bad guy or Arnie himself gets shot, they usually take a shot, you know, from the gun or whatever, and they go like, oh, you know, kind of like selling the effect of like being hit in the shoulder by the gunshot. I'm not even kidding with you, and this absolutely made me laugh in the movie. No one else laughed, but I did. When Wasp shoots her gun or whatever she's got attached to her wrist and shoots, her literary reaction to that gunshot was like, ooh, ooh, like that. And I was like, is she trying to portray Arnold Schwarzenegger here? I really don't know. Anyway, guys, my end score for this movie is 1.5 stars out of 5. If you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. If you're going to go check out this movie, also let me know, and we'll continue the discussion down there. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel by pressing the red button down below so I can see you again on a future video. If you're unaware, I do have a Patreon. There is a couple of levels that you can select, starting from £2 per month, going all the way to £5 a month currently, and they include a host of bunch of different perks, some really cool early access to videos. You can even request movies for me to watch and review on Patreon exclusive or onto my YouTube channel, and you get so much more perks, including merch that is coming very, very soon. So the link to my Patreon is down below in the description box. Go check it out, and I want to give a big massive thank you to all my awesome Patreons on level 1 or 2 for supporting the channel. It really means a lot, and they all have YouTube channels, so please go show them some support. And thank you for taking your own time out to check out this movie review, and until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.